Hello, everyone. Thank you for those who are on time. It's greatly appreciated. Just going to give it maybe one more minute. I know we got a good amount of people registered, so just hang tight. Thank you for those who are on time. I appreciate it. We'll start in about a minute, okay? Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're in the country. My name is Josh Elohim. I'll be your presenter for today regarding how to maximize your boss system. Just some quick housekeeping for the purposes of the call. Everyone's going to be muted so we can get through smoothly. Please put your questions in the chat box. I promise you we'll go through some Q&A at the end and we'll have some fun here. So without further ado, let's get started here. So again, how to maximize your boss system. I don't know if many of you know this, but the boss system was actually built before quote and apply, because we saw that real challenge in our industry of once a case does come in, no one has a clue what the heck's going on. You call your wholesaler, you're like, hey, what's going on with my business? And they're like, it's doing fine, don't worry about it. And you have no clue what's really going on, right? So BOSS stands for Back Office Support System. And what it does is it tracks all your business from submission to commission. So we've redone this thing once or twice now to really maximize it. And I'd love to say that we're these geniuses here, but really the reality is that we've heard all the cries of the people, all your frustrations, the things you like, the things you don't like about our industry. And we did this crazy thing where we actually listened. I know it's crazy, but we actually listened to people. And that's how we're able to build the system here that you're looking at right now. So again, I think not many people are truly maximizing the BOSS for what it really is worth. So I wanted to take this time and just kind of slow down and go through some of the cool features the BOSS has to offer. So the first thing is transparency. So if you look here, what do a lot of agents care about? I'm sure not you, but a lot of agents care about commissions. What's in my pipeline? How much commissions am I sitting on? We see that's the first thing we show here, right here. And then we have a scale of kind of where your money's been, right? This is our demo site, just a heads up. We don't want to show real information, so this is all demo stuff. So my commissions, what do we care about is the wholesaler, because we might have a complaint or two potentially too, right? Well, the contracting can be a real challenge for a lot of new agents, whether it's starting off brand new or whether your E&O expired and we have to get a new E&O insurance. So we have a little checklist that's right here in front of you to make sure you know at any given time if anything is missing or if anything's needed. So that's kind of the first thing we want to show people. Now we got how many cases are pending, your lifetime, your placement, and then your total pending production, right? So what are some things that could be important to you? I want to be able to see all my top cases in one universal place. So you got your top cases, you got all your tasks that are here, and then your e-apps. So again, we're going to kind of go from top to bottom here. But so from the top here, the first thing I see is my quote and apply, right? So quote and apply, I click on that. Every single time someone clicks on your link, or whoever if maybe you're here as an admin for an agent or someone you work with, every single time someone clicks on the link via, whether it be with or without your knowledge, we have a full tracking system. So if I scroll down here, these are real cases that people were looking for, right? You see it right here? So I have a full tracking system to see what's going on. I can see all the details here if I want to, right? Whether these cases are complete, whether they're waiting as a lead, whether they're active. I can go into every case if I want to, or I can just see, kind of get a total here of what's going on. So those are quotes, right? That's how I physically run a quote, right? And every single time I can see the status. So if I click on this now, what do I see? I can click on here and I can see all the details about this quote that was run, right? And again, this could be done by you, the agent, and also can be done by your client, either or. So now I can see all the details here. I can see what status. This one happens to be complete, but if not, it could have been a quote. And I'm actually going to run an actual case so you can see what it looks like on live here towards the end. All the details. I got the time frame, the death benefit, what rate class was applied at, the premium. So again, everything is at your fingertips here. I can see who has access to this. If there is an illustration run, so mostly permanent insurance, I can see the illustration. But most importantly, if someone clicks on that run a quote and they apply, I can see that person's phone number and their email address to reach out to contact them. Does everyone see that? There's your transparency, right? And we're going to run a quote here to go through each step of the process so you can see that at the end. So that's all under quote and apply on the left-hand side here. So now once my application is in, right, what happens next? So now I can go to cases. So I can go through and see a bunch of information. By the way, I can download, if I want to, I can download all my cases and I can email them to myself if I wanted to. But again, everything is right here. So I can search my pending cases. I can search my active cases. I can also search my inactive cases. Not a lot of people know about this one. Why would I want to search inactive? Well, maybe you want to go through the cases that you haven't been able to get done yet, and maybe something changed. So it's always good to follow up with the client and see if something changed. I mean, clearly it could be, not getting the right offer. It could be on the client side. There's a lot of things that can happen. But that inactive is something I always highly recommend that agents go to and see kind of what fell through the cracks, and maybe can I follow up again, right? So let's dive into a case. It could be anything here, right? So let's go into a case. So look at all the details you have in terms of transparency as to what's going on. Again, what's the problem? The problem is agents had no idea what was going on with their cases in the past. They just took their wholesaler's word for it. Not anymore. Now we got the transparency. This is kind of similar to what I showed you before, but you've got all the details in the case, from the death benefit. Do they offer e-delivery? What's the term length? The policy number? And it doesn't mean you as the agent always care about exactly the step here, but guess who might call you and say, what's going on with my case? The client, right? And that's why we want to have this information for you. The rate you applied for, the eventual rate you get approved at, those could be different, right? And then dates of when things happen. And then if I scroll down here, so my task is going to show me what's been completed and what's still incomplete. So there's never a time, and everything is time stamped here. So there never should be a time that you do not know exactly what's going on with your case. By the way, every single thing here is not only in the system here as a chat, but it also gets emailed right to you as the agent or as the admin, whoever's helping out the agent. So if you need help, let me know. We can add you to anyone's account, so that way you can see all this information very easily. Everything is time stamped. You see it here? So everything is here. I'm not saying we don't make any mistakes here. We're human. Everyone's human. But if we do make a mistake, it's going to be seen in our system here. That's what you call transparency. So let's go through these here. So we have the details here. So I can see kind of what's going on, a little snapshot of the details of the case. I can look at who's in the chat or what's chat's been happening here. I can see all the parties that are on the case, from the insurer to the beneficiary. There could be 4 beneficiaries. They'll all be on there. Anyone that's involved with the case will be able to see it right here. How about a full commission accounting system for after the case gets done to see exactly how much was paid on the case? A lot of people love this feature. Just a heads up, we are about 2 weeks behind the carrier, so it does take about 2 weeks to hit. So you might get something to your bank account. And then, so if you truly can't wait those 2 weeks, you do have the ability to log on to the carrier and see the details there. But the whole goal of doing this was not have to log into 10, 15, 20 companies if you're writing with multiple cases. But if you're only writing with 1 or 2, it's really not that bad. So you can go into here and see everything here, right? And then how about all the documents from the application to the exam to the APS? We all know that a lot of agents in the past used to print this stuff up and keep copies of it. And I understand why, right? You want to protect yourself. You no longer have to do that. You have access to every single thing here at your fingertips. Again, this truly is your back office now. This is everything I'm showing you here. It's 100% complimentary. I hate the word free. There's no value in free, but we don't charge you anything for the software. And we also work for you now, by the way. So you get an employee that works for you now to update everything you have. That comes in handy if you need to, if your client's asking you for something, right? You can pull it right there. Who has access to the case, right? This is cool for us because maybe you want to give access to an admin, you want to give access to another agent or whatever it might be. It's very simple for us. You do have to be in our boss system, but it's very simple for us to go ahead and give you access there. And then my favorite is that, how long is this taking? We get calls all the time from agents that say, hey, this case has taken 3 months. What's going on in here? And we look in here and it's been 3 weeks, right? Again, it's just really right from the start to the finish. This could make us potentially look bad, right? Because it could take a long time. But again, we should always know what we're waiting for here. Now, again, there's 4 ways things can go wrong here. We got the carrier, which is the top of the food chain. They never make any mistakes, right, Sally? We have the carrier, and then we have us, the wholesaler, right? And then we have the agent, and then we have the client. So that's 4 ways that things can go wrong. So again, and we know things happen, right? But again, we want to have the tracking system here for you. So you could always click here to view your e-app to see what's going on with that app. People don't know about this. This is a really cool feature. This is going to be after your case is done. I got a testimony about this. I have an agent I helped close a deal on. It might have been 4 years that we closed the deal. So 4 years later, it was actually to cover a loan from a bank. So the agent calls me panicking because his client called him. Hey, they want me to give him the bank to give him some documentation about the quote we ran. I'm sorry, the policy we did. So I forgot we even had this, and I panicked for a second. I'm like, it's been 4 years. You click on this snapshot here. Look how cool this is. A 1-pager with 1 push of a button that gives you details, real simple stuff here, who the agent is, what the policy number, the client, what they bought, the pricing, in 1 click of a button. So I first panicked, and then I came here, clicked this, sent it over to him within a second. He was like, now that's what we call service. Just unbelievably quick. Just to recap, that's the snapshot right here. Very simple, very easy. Get your client what they bought in seconds. A lot of the time, if they want to have something for their records, I just send them that. And that's usually will suffice because they know what they have here. Now, obviously, they get statements from the carrier of what they have, right? You know, they get that. So they do have that. You don't have to worry about paperclip. That's for attaching things. But so really, that's kind of in a nutshell how your cases look. Again, you're going to be able to track everything. You're going to be able to see everything on your cases. A lot of features, a lot of options to go with here. When you communicate, you have 2 options. You can communicate here in the boss system and then hit create, and that's going to be here. Guess what? It also communicates the same way via email. You could also go to your email and you can reply to that. So you don't have to necessarily be in here. I always recommend to agents, so just log into here, have it open. That's really it. But you don't have to be in here. You could just, if we send you an email, it's going to go right to you. Another big thing that questions a lot of people don't understand is like, who do I call for what? What's the process here? So let's break this down here, okay? So if you look, we really have 3 lines of defense here for you. So the first line is going to be our case manager. Now the case manager is a middle person between the carrier and this BOSS system. So anytime there's an update with the carrier, they enter that into the BOSS system. So they're really important because they're the communicators of what's going on with my case. We have a rule with the case managers. If they don't hear anything from the carrier, they have to update the case at least every 3 days, 3 business days at minimum. Now, obviously, if something comes through on the first day, the second day, they're gonna make that change. So that's the job. Just a heads up, you cannot communicate with the case manager. So there's no communication there. When you type a message in here, they get that message though right away, okay? So it's kind of via chat. But you'll also see that on every single case, it shows you who the case manager is, and there's a phone number on here, right? So you can see if I want to call, reach out to BackNine, there is a number here to call. And then just so that's going to be my case concierge. Here's the second line of defense. For some reason, you're not getting what you need, you want to call someone, you would reach out to the case concierge. They oversee the case manager. And that's when you call into BackNine, there's normally a number on here. That's the person you're going to be calling. So just go to your case and you can see who the case manager is and you can call that person. Does that make sense, everybody? So your third line of defense is yours truly. So it's going to be your case manager, your marketing manager. Typically, when I get involved, we need to knock some heads. We have to call the regional vice president of the carrier. We might need a favor. We might need an exception. We might need to beg for an offer. So that's typically where I get involved. I have great relationships with the carriers, with the wholesalers, with the regional vice presidents. If we need a favor, I'm kind of your last line here of a defense to ask for something. But I always tell people, if I can't get it done, at least you can go back to your clients saying, hey, we tried everything possible. Now, a lot of the time we don't have to use that, but I'm just letting you know if something comes up and something's not fair, something was done incorrectly, you can get me involved. But I just want you to understand the pecking order here. Case manager comes first. If you need more, you have to call someone, you're not getting what you need. The case concierge is your second line of defense. And then the third person will be me, here to help out, okay? So please, if you have questions, put them in the chat box. We're here to help 100%. So that's under cases, right? Commissions, here's our full tracking system. So I can go in and I can see all my cases that were paid out right here. So I can see everything here in one place. The cool thing is I can search by a statement. I can search by dates, right? Pay date, pay date from and to. And then if I have multiple agents in my organization, I can change the name on here, right? I do have some advanced filters I can put in if I want to go deeper. But I can pull in, commission type, insured, who the person is, policy numbers, carriers. This is pretty cool. I can look the last 7 days, 30 days, 6 months, this month, this year. So we got some pretty cool custom fields if you want. And then anything you print up, you can always go here and you can email this in a spreadsheet to yourself if you wanted to. Again, you don't have all the information's here, so you don't have to, but if you want to have something that you want in your email, there you go. Does that make sense, everybody? So these are your payments. Let's minimize this. These are your payments, and then I can also look at my statements, right? So either or. And it shows me a total revenue here, right? So there we go. So that's under commissions. So forms and applications. If you need to get access to an application, you can go to obviously we're hoping that you use quote and apply as much as you possibly can, which avoids the e-app or the paper application, right? So if I can click on here, it takes me to my iPipeline, right? And I can search. If I want to do this myself, I can just plug in what I'm looking for, the carrier, the name, and I can do a search there, right? I can request an application. We're going to do it for you. You just tell us what you want. We'll do it for you. Let's go back. I can do informal inquiries. In essence, I need to shop a case off the record. I believe we're starting to put these in some of your in your quote and applies under DocuSign to see if we can have this signed beforehand. But we do a lot of the cases. A lot of our higher cases are done informally, off the record, right? No exam, no medical records, no application. I apologize. There is the informal is pulling the medical records, but there's no application, there's no exam. So really we use that for some of our higher end clientele. Policy reviews, I just want to review what the client currently has. So everything is here for you. So if you want a policy review form for life, here it is. See how simple that is? This is great, Josh, but I actually need it for an annuity. Here you go. The way these work is we'll go ahead and you have your client fill out the highlighted section in yellow. Send it back to, sign and send it back to us. What we'll do on your behalf is we'll reach out to the carrier and we'll figure out what this client currently has, and then we'll get back to you. Once you figure it out, now we can run through some options and see if what they have, if we can beat what they have. Very simple. Term insurance is pretty straightforward. Just send us over a name, a policy number, and a carrier, and 9 times out of 10, we can just get that. We don't have to ask for to use this. This could take 7 to 10 business days. There's a handful of companies that will not send this back to us, just a heads up. So let us know who the company is before you're thinking about doing this. Is that pretty straightforward? And then we do have IGO. If you truly don't want to use quote and apply, that's a shocker, but you can always use IGO. If I scroll down here, we have some cool impaired risk quotes where maybe you want to do an impaired risk quote, but you don't know information about your client. Well, I know they have diabetes, so I just put in diabetes. Look at, immediately you become an expert at what the carrier is looking for questions they want to ask for diabetes. So you can take this form to your client, you can fill it out with them, call them over the phone, or have them do it, right? So now you become an expert right away of what the carrier is looking for. These are great. So we have these for almost every issue, right? We got 10 pages of issues. I joke around like, you got the issues, we got the tissues here. Let's go ahead and get stuff done here, right? There's 10 pages there. So those are our, and I'll show you where that ties in here in a second. We do have a help center that has a lot of cool articles that you can put in here where you can type in kind of what you're looking for, and hopefully we can help out. The webinars we do are also posted in here as well. So if you want to go back to some of the webinars, they are posted in here. So that's a cool little help center you can go to, guides, tutorials, news. A lot of agents, unfortunately, don't take advantage of this, but this is something that I thought about in the shower here. A lot of people agents love quote and apply. It's the best thing since sliced bread. They love the boss system, right? It's so great. But the problem that I've realized is that the message never gets to your client. And we know that quote and apply is agent and it's also consumer facing, right? Well, if the message never gets to your client, how are they supposed to know about it, and how are you supposed to get any business? So what we've done here is we've hand created 7 different templates. Does everyone see these here? Business life insurance, final expense, get started on future retirement, that's IUL. Policy reviews, long-term care riders, new mortgage, new home, and no exam. So let's say you work with business owners, right? I click on this campaign here. We've dressed up the campaign for you with your information. Your picture will appear here, your information, and it goes to your link. So you have 2 different, they're simple campaigns. They're not designed to be difficult, very simple. So you have 2 options. You can manually plug in up to 100 emails here if you don't have an email service. So just copy and paste if you have an Outlook or wherever you have them saved at, right? I hit the submit button, I just sent out up to 100 emails. The reason why we limit it to 100 is because we know that people will buy lists of hundreds of thousands and block our whole system. So we limit it to 100. That's not 100 per day, that's just 100 per submit, up to. So if you have 1,000 people, you just do it 10 times. So that's one way to get your message out. The second way, let's say that you do have an email service like a MailChimp or Constant Contact. You just hit HTML and I hit copy. If you were going to do it this way, I'd probably do what we call a drip campaign, right? Where I copy all of these and I send them out once a week, once a month to my clients, whatever works best for you. But again, it's a way to get the message out to your clients. That's one of the biggest challenges I see with quote and apply and why agents don't have success, because the message never gets to the client. And I'd love to say, hey, you're going to sit back and watch hundreds or thousands of applications come in. This is just one part of the equation, right, to help out. But that's how the marketing works, okay? I'm going to skip products for 1 second, and I want to go to quoting here, and I'm going to come right back to products. So let's say that you want something that's not on quote and apply. Obviously, we have 23 carriers on there. We have life, we have long-term care riders. Maybe you want a disability quote. Maybe you want annuity. By the way, we have goals in the next 6 months, a year, to get all 4 lines on quote and apply. So disability, we one of them, and annuities would be the next one. We already have long-term care. We have riders, and we're working on traditional, which is almost done here. So we just got to get annuities and disability income on there, and you won't even have to come here. If Josh, I need something that's not on quote and apply. So I go into here, right? Quoting. So I have a few options here, okay? I can go to quote. If I go to quote and apply, it brings me to my link. So obviously, if I want to get help, I can hit request a quote. Now have a look at this. All I do is I click here, and if I want life, this is all set up for life insurance here. If I change the disability, look how it changes my questions. We know at DI we're more focused on income and occupation now. That's how I define the underwriting class. And then my questions are more DI. What's the benefit period? How much do you want on a monthly basis, right? What's your elimination period? The notes section here is where the magic happens. This is where you can explain to us what's happening, what's going on, right? If you have a comparison to if you're quoting against someone, or if you have someone already has a policy, you can attach it right there for a comparison. You hit the create quote. Maybe it's for an annuity. I click on here. Now my questions change for an annuity, right? What type of funds are we looking at here? What kind of annuity and how much we're putting into that? And then again, it goes to my description here, right? If I have a joint life on any of these, long-term care or annuities, I just click on here and it adds my joint life. You are not available to do a survivorship policy yet for quote and apply. So we do see survivorship policies get requested here. Once you do hit that create button, it goes to our internal Todd. I don't know if this guy is even human. We're supposed to say 24 hours. It takes like 10 or 20 minutes to get a quote back. It's mind-blowing how good this guy is. So we're very thankful for him. So that's how the quoting section works there, okay? Let's go back to the beginning here. Okay, so let's say that we know all your clients are healthy as horses, right? Until the application comes back, until the exam comes back. But let's just say one of your clients actually admits they have an issue up front. Well, what do? Well, I showed you that forms and applications where you can request if I have to ask some questions, right? But I can go to impaired risk quote. I do want to show this to you very quickly. So you put your client's information here, right? You do have to put in something in every place here. So what's my issue? You see it right here? So if they tell you what your issues are, you could just, if you have the information, you could just put it in here, right? You do have to put something in here for every category. Okay, if you have more than one issue, you can add it right here, right? Add the other issue. I already showed you the forms and applications where if you don't know what questions you have to ask, you can pull it up there and get that to the client, right? So height, weight, let's just put in anything here. Tobacco use, any family history. So what are you looking for? Is it term? Is it permanent? What's the face amount? Do you need long-term care? You see how the carriers pop up here? So here we go. If anyone wants to take a screenshot of this is probably who I'd recommend. So I would probably just send it to these companies right here. Again, this could be different depending on what you put in, but if you want to just have some foundation of who to send this to. I'll wait for a second if you all want to take a screenshot there of that. So once you hit this create button, which I'm not because this will be real, what's going to happen is that all your information is going to go to the carriers you selected. And within 24 to 48 hours, you're going to get actual offers back of where these carriers would rate that client. How cool is that? A lot of time they respond the same day. It's really fast. It's really cool. Why do it this way? You got no hit on the MIB, the Medical Information Bureau, right? You're not wasting your client's time with an application. You don't have to do an exam. So you're basically just giving them some general quotes really quickly, right? Now I'd say this is probably about 75% accurate. because it's only based on what you're telling them. If there's other stuff that happens, they don't know about it, right? But listen, if I get offers here, I know the juice might be worth a squeeze. If I don't get offers and it's all decline, now I know what I'm up against, right? And I don't want to waste my client's time. But at least I know. So that's kind of how that works there. Again, I fill this out. Now, if I go back to forms and applications here, I did show this to you already, but we have all the places here, right? Now, it's not popping up here, but you're going to get an email for every single quote from that carrier that comes through. That'll come right to your inbox, so you can see it. What we also have, let me cheat here for 1 second. We also have one universal place. Let me log myself back in here. This is the real thing. Don't look too close. So if you look here, we have this forms and let's see, where's, so let me go back to my quoting here. So we have this, and you know what, Matthew, actually I was in the right place here. So I go to our products, sorry, quoting, and then we have this impaired risk here. Does everyone see this here? So this is a one universal place where you can go to see the actual, all the quotes that you requested. Does that make sense, everybody? That's one universal place right there you can go to. So these are, I can look in here and see, so these are my, so I click on here, right? I can see all the offers here that came through, and then anyone I'm waiting for right here on the spot. Does that make sense, everybody? So that's really cool because it is one universal place that I can see everything here on the spot. A lot of the time this comes up and agents don't know this, but if I go back to products, how about one universal place that gives me all my commissions for every carrier, for every product, for every state? I can't tell you how much work was put into this, but look at, for annuities, for disability, for life, and long-term care. By the way, we can be a resource for all 4 lines there. Does that make sense, everybody? So there you go. So let's say we do a lot of business with Allianz, right? So if I want to know what the commission is, just type in ALL. Look at this, first year commission, my renewals, and my excess. I don't want to beat around the bush. Allianz pays very well. I show them first, right? So how about Prudential? Just type in Pru. There's my commission. That's, on average, I'd say you're going to be on 80 points, not New York, but give or take. So on average there, right? How about John Hancock? We're trying to limit time and frustration from you, though, which is why we've done all this heavy lifting to get this stuff done here, okay? So we've kind of gone over everything. We have reporting. There's some stuff that's some cool reporting tools that are on here. A lot of agents don't use this, but there are some cool features, right? And then if you go to tables, if you want to reach out to a carrier, you can go to that carrier and you can see all the stuff about the carriers there, right? If you want to search. I do want to go to, so there is an option here where if I go to my profile, this is going to show me kind of profiles, a place where you can go to see all this cool stuff right here on the spot, right? I know one of the things that agents always want to ask about is appointments. Where are all my appointments at? So if I click here, for every agent, it's going to be under profile here. I can see all my appointments for all the carriers, for all the products right here. There's my agent number. If I have a downline of agents, if I go to agents, it's going to show me the agents there. We added a tool here where if you're going to use that marketing feature I told you about, we can actually see every single time you ran this here. So be careful when your marketing manager calls you and says, hey, did you send out any emails? And you say, yes, we can track it all right here. So just be careful there, okay? Cases, clients, all your e-apps, your quotes, and your payments. So this is kind of one place that has everything. Again, it's under here, under profile, right? So if you do want to add an agent ever, or create like another login, you can go to Create menu and Advisor, and all we need from you is an email address and an NPN number. That's all we need, and we can get you, and you hit the Create button, and you have an account set up. It's truly that simple. Very, very simple. So the last thing I want to show you here, and I wanted to keep this around 30 minutes, but I want to show you. So when you have a quote up, right? Okay, so here we go. So here's kind of how the process works with a quote. By the way, if I click on Need Help, I can see all my licenses as an agency. Everything that's in here, if people say, well, if I want to sell in a state that I'm not licensed in, will this work? The answer is no. By law, in order to sell life insurance online, you have to have 4 things. You have to have your name on there. You have to have your agency, your phone number, your address, and your license. Does everyone see it right there? Those are the 4 things. So how do I get a license? I just go to nipper.com and IPR.com. I pay for my license, give it a day or 2 after you get the approval. And once you see it in here, you can sell in that state. It happens that quickly. I just got my New York license. I literally took a day after the approval. I mean, unbelievably fast. By the way, we pay a fee for that, which you never see, but we pay a fee for Nipper for that to happen. So that's a really cool feature. Let's go back to our quote. So I'm going to go ahead and just run a quote in 2 seconds here. Hopefully this works under our demo account. I think you've all seen this before, so I'm going to fly through this very quickly and wrap this thing up. All right, so I put my information in, hit next, no thanks. So at this point, this is when this becomes a quote right now. Does everyone see that? So there's my quote I just ran right now. Why is it a quote? Well, look, I'm shopping, right? I got my carriers, I got my quotes here, right? So let's see if I'm going to hit my refresh button here in my demo and see if this works under my demo account. Let's have a peek here. So if I go to eApps, does everyone see the quote I just ran right here? That's the one I just did. Does everyone see that? And what's this called here? A quote. That's what we ran, correct? Makes sense, everybody? We ran a quote here. Okay, so let's go back here. And let's say your client's like, hey, this is great. I want to move forward. So if I hit this continue button, I put this information in. Does this person want to get a copy? Yes or no? Let's say yes. When I hit this next button, watch what happens now. So I'm going to go back to I'm going to hit my refresh in my demo account. I go back to my eApps. Does everyone see how this changed to a lead now? So what does a lead mean? Well, let's click on it here. I can still see all the details about this case, right? I can see the death benefit, the premium, what we applied for, how far are we along. But the cool thing is that if I go to parties here, now I got an email and a phone number to reach out to this person. So now so for me, I'd much rather call someone that's gone through the whole system and ran a quote and maybe got 50% of the way through and say, hey, I'm your agent, can I help you out? Rather than calling someone saying, hey, this is a cold call. You want to buy life insurance, don't hang up. A little difference in those 2 calls, right? So there you go. So if I want, I can click on here and go back into this quote, exactly, just put the date of birth in. I can also share it. Let's say my client got declined, I can actually, or wants to pick a different company, I can hit this duplicate button and I can transfer that information to another carrier. This is spawned by an agency in New York that asked us for this, so we did it and we're excited about it. But I can duplicate that and then the client doesn't have to fill out the whole application, just potentially the medical questions. If you switch carriers, they DocuSign and you're right back in the game. So there you go. So that's how it works. Once I get to the DocuSign, it turns into what we call a sent status, and that just means that we're waiting for somebody to sign. Once it's complete, then we get the complete there. So that's how the process works visually right in front of you of the system. So again, this is the BOSS system. It's been an absolute game changer for us. I usually see more questions by now. I can't be that good. So I just wanted to kind of run through this. It does a few more things, but again, I've given you overall what the main thing is. I do want to give you one last thing. If let's say you have a company account, right? You have a master account with a company. You can hit this if you want to. You can see your stuff yourself personally, but if you hit change access, now you can go in there and you can see it. Just change this to the company, and you should be able to see everything in there. If you want to just see yours, you change it back to yours. But that's a way that you can actually go into there and not only see yours, but see the whole company. We do have to give you access for that, but just let us know. And if it's allowed, then we'll give it to you. And you'll be able to see every case, every quote from that entire company, not just individually. Listen, I hope this has been a helpful webinar here. The BOSS system, please take advantage of it. It's really not used as much as it should. We put a lot of time, a lot of money into this, a lot of resources into giving you all these tools right at your fingertips. So please, we're finished here, but go ahead and put your questions in the chat box. Love to answer a few questions and love to see you start using your BOSS system to create more revenue for you and your company. Thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to working with each and every single one of you, and have a blessed day. I'll wait for a second here for questions. Any questions? Here we go. So someone said, can we, thank you, Sally, we appreciate it. We're excited to help you out any way possible. Someone said, can we use the marketing sheets on social media? So it's really just an HTML you get there. So you can't just put that on social media. I do have some, if you look at my email signature here, let's pull this up. You should have gotten an email with some marketing taglines you can use that I've sent to you. I do have some really cool videos in my email signature. Like here's a video on tax-free retirement and how it works, a 50-something second video. It's a Vimeo video. You can just see that link right there. You could just copy that link and put it into social media. Here's a video on how quote and apply works for your clients. Those are all in my email signature that you could just grab. And then we also have a YouTube channel that we have a bunch of cool videos on. You know, with social media, you have to keep it simple, but it has to be a link though. So you can use your link, and then you can do some of these videos here. If you need those, any email I sent to you should be on there, but if you need, reach out to me and I'll go ahead and I'll put those on there, okay? That's a good question though. Marketing is really important. And just so you all know, I always recommend the 3 things, right? Add that button we send to you to your email signature. That way, every time you send out an email, you give your client a chance to apply in their own free time. Use our marketing system to blast out. So blast out to all your current and future clients, and then social media. You could have a 4th thing, which would be putting this on a website or multiple websites, right, as well. So that's if you're doing all 4 of those things, you should be getting some business. I can 100% guarantee you that maybe 1 or 2 people on this call, unfortunately, are doing all 4 of those things. So we got some work to do, right? Great question. Any other questions about the BOSS system? Going once, going twice. Listen, again, I really appreciate all of you. I'm very thankful to have you, to be able to work with you. Reach out to us and let us know how we can be a resource to help out, okay? Thank you so much again for your time, and everyone have a blessed day.